Welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast. This is where Matt shares all his ideas on how to be happier, more successful, and enjoy life to the fullest. Please go to mattogradycoaching.com and thelivinggratitudebook.com to learn more and receive your free micro-coaching session with Matt.
Hello and welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast, mattogradycoaching.com. Just want to send a huge shout out to all of you who listen, who share, who comment, who post on social media, let their friends and family and anyone appropriate to know about the podcast. We are growing. It's amazing to see. I'm like, it's just such a great feeling. And thank you to all of you who reach out and let me know what you think of the podcast and what you'd like to hear about. That is the best. If you ever feel inspired to do something for me, that is it. Reach out to me, get on my email list, follow me on social media, let me know what you think of the podcast, let me know what you think of the topics. Let me know what topics you feel are missing or that are important to you, and they will get on the list because I'd say 90% of the topics that I cover, 80 or 90% are requests from either my coaching clients or people who are regular listeners to the show, and that's the way we run things here at the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast. So, today, we're doing another Abraham 101, so thanks so much for listening in. Much appreciated. And to give me that information, you go to mattogradycoaching.com, and then you just hit contact, and we start talking. I get a message on email, and we start a private conversation. So many of you have done it already, and I really appreciate it. Love hearing from you. Love hearing the inspired stories that you share. Literally bring me to tears of joy, and it's just the best. And I love that it's people all over the world. I don't know what it is that goes on in Australia, but you guys are easily 10, 20% of the downloads, but we have people in South America, we have people in Africa, Eastern Europe, Japan, and of course all through North America where I'm from. So it's awesome, and leads us to today's topic. This is something, of course, I've written a book about, and you can see that at mattogradycoaching.com, thelivinggratitudebook.com. But it's the simple thing. When we were young, we learned about count your blessings, be grateful, say thank you. And so much of it, I think, got ingrained in us as this obligatory thing. And I know for a lot of us, myself included, that kind of put a tarnish on the whole process. And I even noticed it with my son. He's 5 years old, and, I'm teaching him to be polite. And when somebody gives you something, to say thank you. But I can tell already how there's like this little bit of a negative connotation to it because it's not natural. I'm telling him to do it. And so it kind of has this, it's not connected to freedom and allowing his inspiration to come forth. But I do admit, we are raising him to conform somewhat in society. But we're teaching him on the side, trust me. So as you look at one of the easiest, simplest ways to increase your energy, to expand how you can receive in your life. It's about appreciation. It's about feeling thankfulness moving through your heart, through your mind, through your body, through your brain. I mean, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of studies that talk about how gratitude increases every aspect of our lives in a positive way. So why don't we do it more? Why isn't it just a part of who we are? I mean, science has proved it. Sacred texts go back thousands and thousands of years talking about how important it is. Millions, if not billions of people have changed their lives by being more grateful, by learning how to appreciate more authentically, more consistently. I'd say consistency is one of the number one things, because as we go through life, I'm sure we're grateful. I'm sure that we're appreciating things. But I was really inspired by a very short Abraham quote, which said, "The magic formula you are seeking appreciation." That's it. That's the whole quote. The magic formula you are seeking is appreciation. Period. And I know it sounds so simple. It's like, almost like, no, that can't be it. It can't be it. That can't be it. But it is it. It is. If you do this one thing, I promise you, you can change your life. But it has to be authentic. You can't just say the words. You can't just think the thoughts. You've got to feel it. You know, the engine behind our lives is our emotions, our feelings, the way we experience life. We may have thoughts. We may have experiences. We may have imagination. But the way we define whether it was good, bad, or in between is by how we feel about it. What emotions we experience as we're feeling something. So when Abraham says the magic formula you're seeking is appreciation, they're not just saying to do the right thing when somebody gives you something that you say thank you. You've got to feel it. And I've worked with hundreds of people on this. It's not about saying the right thing or just, I teach people how to establish a daily practice in their lives and how to bookend their day with gratitude and appreciation. In the beginning of the day, being grateful. When you first wake up, your eyes might not even be open yet, but your first intention is to feel thankfulness, to appreciate what you have, and to appreciate what you know is coming. I mean, don't you know that there's going to be more air to breathe? Don't you know that there's going to be an earth to walk on? Don't you know that gravity is going to be in place? And for most of you listening to this, you've got an amazing roof over your head. You've got a great car to drive. You've got running water. You've got food in the fridge. I mean, could we go on and on? There's thousands, if not millions, of things to be grateful for every day. But it takes time. It takes focus. It takes attention. It takes follow-through. It takes consistency. It doesn't happen overnight, although the very first time I practiced gratitude in a conscious, kind of specifically authentic way, I was blown away by the results. I was actually experiencing my dark night of the soul. I was probably a few weeks after the worst parts of it, but I literally was in a deep depression. My body was broken down. I was having, for most of the day, pretty terrible thoughts. Thought I was a loser, thought my life was over. Here I was at 25 years old, and I thought my life was over. It's kind of funny, right? Here I am at 45, realizing that my life wasn't over. And it ended up being the turnaround. I started getting into Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay back then. And I was Gary, Dancing Willie Masters, Seed of the Soul, blanking out on his last name, but also I was reading Dancing Willie Masters back then. So my mind was being open to these new ideas, but I hadn't really taken hold of them. I had read a couple books. The first book I ever read in this genre was Dan Millman's Way of the Peaceful Warrior, which I had read in college some years before. And it stuck with me. It really did plant strong seeds in me that began to blossom after I really started to work on things. But the gratitude thing, it sounded so simple. It was ridiculous. Like, count your blessings. Yeah, why? What? So I get the check mark with God or with church or with my parents? No. Has nothing to do with that. It's about the feeling you have when you're authentically in appreciation, when you are literally feeling the appreciation. It's not about the check mark. It's not about the external. It's about the internal. And some people say, well, I am grateful, but I have a hard time feeling. Well, okay, yes, it takes some time to build the awareness muscle to really experience your emotions in a deep way that feel like you have some consciousness over. I think some people have so many repressed emotions, positive and negative. They've been holding back their whole lives, that to, start doing this practice is kind of intense or scary and weird and different, which I understand, but trust me, you'll get through it. It's okay. Take time with yourself. Be gentle, but follow through. Be gentle, but be consistent. Be gentle and kind and passionate towards yourself, but be committed. Come to it every day for at least a few minutes every day. I recommend first thing when you wake up and last thing when you go to bed. Being grateful. Because as I sat there reading Louise Hay's Heal Your Life and trying to understand what she was talking about in this book, it was kind of really, I think it was a little bit next level for me at that point. I had read, it wasn't the second book I read, but it was probably the third or fourth. I was just starting to wrap my brain around this stuff. And I said, okay, well, let me practice it right here in the middle of my lunch. I was eating lunch by myself on a break from the bookstore I worked at, Bay Books in Coronado, a little island off the coast of San Diego, and beautiful location. And I could smell the ocean. I could hear the ocean. I was at a little cafe just a few blocks away from the ocean, and I decided to be grateful for that fact, that that simple fact, even though my life was crap, or so I thought in that moment, I decided to give it a shot. What did I have to lose, right? Nothing, because I felt like my life was already going down the tubes. And what happened instead is it ignited a flame in my heart, in my soul, and it woke me up to a whole new reality. Understanding that by just focused attention, I could shift my experience of life, how I felt, what emotions I was experiencing. So now I've dedicated the past 20 years of my life to understanding this more deeply and to teaching as many people about it as I can, because it is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm asking you to bookend your day in the morning and at night before you go to bed with this, so that you plant the seed first thing to start your day, and then also you plant the seed last thing before you move into your subconscious stage. While you're sleeping, you're planting those seeds in your subconscious mind so that they can bear fruit down the road. But I'm grateful all day long. I'm grateful, and I actively and consciously appreciate my life as much as I can remember throughout the day, which leads to many dozens, if not sometimes many hundreds, if not over 1,000 times a day, and I know this because I've been tracking it for years, literally writing down everything I'm grateful for. Sometimes before noon, I'm over 100. I'm over 200 things that I can literally write down that I'm grateful for. From the simple to the complex, to the sublime, to the natural, to the divine. There's so much good in this life if you open yourself up to it, if you focus your attention on it. But we have to do that part. The universe isn't going to do it. Our parents aren't going to do it. Our kids aren't going to do it for us. Our family, our friends are not going to do it for us. I can't do it for you. This is where you have to choose and commit and follow through to focusing on the good in your life, in reaching for a better feeling thought, in treating your life as a sacred opportunity to connect deeply with your higher self, to really move into this space so you're tapping into your potential. Let me tell you, the path of gratitude and appreciation, I know without a doubt, 100%, is the fastest way I have ever found to feeling better. And trust me, I've looked for other ways. You know, I like to dance. I like to sing. I like to be silly. I like to watch comedies. I like to do all sorts of creative things. You guys know I write books and I'm doing audios. Woohoo! My meditation audio is almost done. I'm working with the designer on it right now. Oh my God, she's such a good designer. It's going to be beautiful. But the first one was a little too ethereal. And we're going to go a little more concrete. Because as much as I love the mystical, I find that so many spiritual people can get caught up in that. Meanwhile, their lives are a car wreck, and they're just kind of, not looking to actively and consciously change their lives for the better. And we have this power. We have this power. Why not use it? Why not put it into action every day, every moment that we can remember? There's something to be grateful for. I use, as I teach meditation, and so I'm always using the breath. The breath, the breath, the breath. Because without the breath, we don't have life. We don't live this human life without the breath. Breath is key. Such an important thing to be grateful for. I'm using the breath as I speak these words. Without the breath, I could not say them. Without the breath, you could not hear them, right? Because the breath is what keeps the body alive. The breath is what brings in the nutrition from the air into our bodies. The breath is what feeds the oxygen to our brain, to our blood, so that our heart can pump it around. And all the amazing things that allow us to live our lives are connected to the basis of the breath. Similar to that, just having a body. Just having a body is something to be thankful for, something to appreciate. I know we all want it to look better or work differently or, have other people think it looks better or whatever it is. But leave that to the side. Just be grateful you have one. If you want to change it, you can. But if you're not grateful for it in the first place, it's an uphill battle to change it. If you're grateful for it, if you appreciate the body temple, you treat it as a sacred temple, give you more joy than you can imagine. I think the body is often left off the table in a lot of spiritual circles, like it doesn't matter. The body matters. The body is part of who we are. It's not just material. It is part, it's a quote-unquote gross vibration, a gross frequency, because we can touch it and it's tangible. But as we know from quantum physics, nothing is solid. I mean, just think about your body. The whole skin is completely semi-permeable. The whole organ. A lot of people don't even know that the skin is an actual organ in the body. And it's constantly, guess what? Breathing. The breath isn't just what comes through our mouths and nose and lungs. The breath is moving through the whole body, moving through the pores microscopically. We're pulling things in and releasing things. So as you think about the body and the breath, there's literally 10,000 things to be grateful for just with the body and the breath. So if we start there, we've got this grounded, powerful place of appreciation, to vibrate the frequency of appreciation to who, right? To what? Well, for a lot of you, it's the universe or God or your higher self or just existence itself, the all that is. In some circles, it's called the absolute. I mean, but you can use a name for God, call it Jesus or Yahweh or whatever you want. I don't care. What I do care about is you taking what you've been given and appreciating it, every aspect of your life. Because if you take every aspect of your life and you start appreciating it, you start making lists of positive aspects. I mean, anybody who's listened to Abraham for a long time knows that they talk about this significantly. Don't just think about them. Write them down. Don't just say them to your partner or to your friend or to yourself. Write them down. Write them down. Can I make it any clearer? I'm telling you, this is a great practice. I have whole journals filled, hundreds and hundreds of pages of just positive aspects, things that I appreciate about my life. And what that does, it kind of takes it from your brain and your heart through your hand and onto the page. You can type it, but I recommend that you actually write it on paper. Something special that happens through the pen and the pencil, and something beautiful that occurs. I mean, if you want to type it too, because you can get more done, listen, I've done that too. I've done that hundreds of times. But there's something about writing in a book, or even a plain spiral notebook. A student's notebook is a great thing to use. It doesn't have to be a fancy leather thing with a feather or anything like that, although those are nice if you like that kind of thing. You can have an angel on the front. I mean, do whatever feels good, man. Come on. This stuff is not that hard. It really isn't. It takes a few important things. Awareness, right? Because if we're not aware of what we appreciate, how can we appreciate it? So we have to have some level of watching our mind and watching what we feel, the emotions that move through us. Then, once we're watching, we have to recognize, recognize what we're experiencing so that we can pay attention to it and take it deeper to really feel it. And then we have to consciously choose to allow that experience to lift us up. Because when we're grateful for something, truly, authentically grateful for something, you are being lifted up. You are raising your vibration in those moments. And for as long as you feel that way, you are significantly increasing your connection to everything that you really are and everything that's positive and possible for your life. So why not do it more often? Huh? Come on, people. Where are we with this, huh? I mean, listen, about every day, sometimes upwards of 5 or 6 clients a day. I try to manage it a little less than that because that gets a little intense when I'm still running another company, my digital marketing company, which is going through a complete repackaging, a rebranding. So I'm excited to share that with you guys too when it's ready. But I'm really appreciating that process and the amazing people that are helping me with that, especially Barry. She's just an amazing human being. She's my new COO. Little shout out to her. She's just an amazing human being, and I literally get welled up with tears of joy when I think about having her on my team. And so many other people that have been with me, like Liz and Melissa and Bhavini, just amazing, and Vicky and Ev, just so many amazing people that I'm blessed to work with. I'm so grateful. Shane and his team, and Rob and his team, just amazing people that I feel so blessed to work with. Do you see how easy it is? I'm doing that just to show you, like, you open the door to appreciation authentically, you really feel it, and then what does the universe give you? More thoughts to appreciate, more things to appreciate, more people to appreciate. You just let that avalanche of joy move through your heart, mind, and body. And my whole body is lit up with chills and wonderful light kind of feelings right now as I talk about this topic, because that is what's possible. And when we move through life that way, man, you're an unstoppable force for good in your own life. Why not feel good? Why not appreciate the people who are good to us? And not just in the obligatory way by paying them or thanking them or, doing in kind for them. Feel it. Really feel it as authentically as you can muster for as long as you can stay focused on it. Just milk it. Really let all of that move through every aspect of your being. Move through your body and your mind and your heart. Move through your being and your soul. Every aspect of who you are. Let it move through into your cells. As you start to do this work, you really embrace it and you really let it do what it can do for you. It is absolutely life-changing. It can happen in a moment like it did for me 20 years ago, now 20-something years ago. As you do that, oh, man, it can just be the best choice you have ever made. And it's literally as simple as taking advantage of the magical formula that you're already seeking. As Abraham puts it, appreciation, appreciation, appreciation. Over and over again, every day, every moment you can, just appreciating what you have, that you can see, that you can hear, that you can touch and taste and smell and experience all the things in life, all the relationships, all the people, all the blessings. They're all waiting in your life to be appreciated so that you can have even more in your life. Thanks for listening, guys. MattO'GradyCoaching.com. I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you. Absolute bottom of my heart.